This week on Capitol Report, the process for getting on a primary ballot turns into a legal battle in the state's first congressional district.
Are these laws being designed to keep candidates off of the ballot?
You want me to speak? When I point you again.
Plus, New Hampshire's governor has some harsh words for Governor Lamont concerning the diesel tax increase.
I literally thought my staff was joking because I thought I've never heard of it.
So a grasshopper named Gary walks into a bar. No.
While Governor Lamont keeps touting the tax relief he's delivering to Connecticut.
And an awful lot of mothers and fathers who can have a little bit extra to take care of their kids starting this summer.
Hi, honey.
The kids are going insane. I can't do this. You gotta come home right now.
And where will the University of Hartford be playing most of its future sporting events?
Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts.
Get on the bus. Capitol Report starts now. Welcome to Capitol Report. I am Tom Dutchick. We are so glad you're spending part of this Sunday morning alongside. Look who's back. Joe Arison was tanned, rested, and ready.
Ready to go.
Former Speaker of the House on the Democratic side. On the Republican side, Johnny Mack.
I made it back.
Made it back, baby.
All right, Mack is back.
All right, let's get into it. Mack is back. If you were betting the over-under on how many times in a row Capitol Report would discuss Democrat Moad Harizi's effort to get on the primary ballot to face Congressman John Larson, and you went with 4, ding, 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 congratulations, you win. The 27-year-old Harizi wants to get on the ballot about Connecticut's ancient laws and rules for having to acquire and verify signatures from a certain percentage of voters are among the most restrictive in the nation. Harizi not going down without a fight. He filed a lawsuit to extend signature deadline. Congressman John Larson and Attorney General Willie Tong opposed to Harizi's challenge. Harizi has some harsh words for Tong. Take a listen to this one.
Yeah, I believe that progressives should get involved in all levels of government. We need progressive AGs to make sure that they're creating a fair system of justice. And so as a progressive AG, as I hope he is, I think he should be advocating not on the side of the unconstitutionally restrictive laws, but on the side of rewriting these laws. But our point is, I guess, is it too much that we're asking candidates to do to just get on the ballot, just to get on the ballot?
So, of course, as you would expect, News 8 reached out for an interview with Attorney General Tong and outgoing Secretary of State Denise Merrill, talk about the lawsuit going on. Sadly, none of them decided to get back to us, Joe, huh? What do you think?
Well, I mean, they should have gotten back to us. I think it's an important story. I understand that the Secretary of State's office has a review process. They have to stamp it, has to comply to our laws. I don't know how long that takes. But back to his campaign. I heard his name floating around September, October, November. You knew this was coming. You knew that was your plan. You weren't going to play the convention game. You should have had your forms approved a long time ago, and you wouldn't needed the 2 days.
Well, look, I think there are two issues here. One is his lawsuit, and where he claims the Secretary of State's office delayed him, cost him 48 hours to collect signatures. It'd be clear to me that if he had an additional 48 hours, he would have gotten sufficient signatures. So I don't know if the Secretary of State's office screwed up. If they did, I think the judge is going to give him an extra 48 hours, and John Larson's going to have a primary.
Well, you know, guys, it's not just Harizi. Julie Mar Ortiz down in Bridgeport will keep pointing out she's going to petition to get, she's going to challenge to get on the ballot. She's primarying State Senator Bradley. But, you know, is there a larger overreaching issue in the state of Connecticut here with limited ballot access when Georgia's laws are easier?
Well, that's the second issue here.
Here you go.
And we have some of the most restrictive ballot access laws in the country, and I would agree with Harizi. If you are going to be a progressive, if you're going to argue for better voting rights and all of that kind of stuff, Joe, which I think Republicans and libertarians should agree with, then you have to advocate to change our laws. We've heard nothing from the Democratic leadership, whether it's William Tong or Denise Merrill or the governor or Speaker Ritter or Marty Looney, to increase access.
And it's a robust race. Everyone and their sister is running for Secretary of State because it's a cushy job. Everybody wants that job. But no one has come out, Matt Lesser, Marissa Bonds, and no one's come out and said, when I win, I am going to go to the legislature next session, beginning in January, and I'm going to fight for more access to the ballot, Joe.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair argument. I think that'll probably become, at some level, at least for the Democratic primary voters, an issue that they're going to vote on. So they're going to have to address it. They're going to have to talk about it, and they're going to have to come up with a plan. Look, when we passed campaign financing, it really was to get more people the ability to run and get rid of some of the hurdles. So we've done it in certain areas. We do need to expand it out.
And by the way, this is why I don't think the Democrats are going to convince the DNC to make Connecticut an early primary state, because our ballot access laws are too restrictive and our voting laws are too restrictive.
All right, guys, so at least we not forget as we wind up June about the race for governor. Bob Stefanowski made a trip to the Brass City last week for a little campaign fundraiser where a special guest was New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. Waterbury will be a battleground in the heart of the state's 5th congressional district where there appears to be a lot of red support. Sununu runs a state where there is zero sales tax or state income tax. He jumped on Lamont for not stopping the 9-cent diesel tax that's coming just 5 days from now and blamed Lamont policies for driving up inflation.
The first thing he did was increase taxes by $1.8 billion. Oh, strategically he did it early on because he figured folks would forget a few years later, but that's not the way it is. Voters are smart. They understand exactly what's impacting their families, and they're going to vote with their feet, and they're going to make the right choice this November, and that's why I think we're all incredibly excited about the turnaround that Connecticut is about to undergo. You got to change. You got to be willing to change leadership at the top. Can't get change unless you force change.
Guys, we've come a long way in campaign politics when a campaign event in the Brass City of Waterbury, they go to a chocolatier, guys.
Oh, chocolatier. I didn't even know.
Chocolatier.
What a sweet idea.
Sweet.
Well
All
played.
right, McKinney, have at it.
Well, you know, we talked about this. There's no Republican primary for governor for the first time in a long time. The campaign for governor started a long time ago, and it's continuing. You'll see surrogates come in for Bob Stefanowski. You'll see surrogates come in for Governor Lamont. And this is what you try to do to get unearned media. They got it. They're on our show. They're on Channel 8 News. It's good for the Stefanowski campaign.
Isn't there a certain unwritten rule that a sitting governor doesn't come in and basically, trash another regional governor?
Well, you think that would happen.
They would, right?
You know, a little common courtesy, and I think Governor Lamont has done a great job really working with the other states. He values their opinion. There was many issues that he said, we'll do it together. We're not going to do it alone. And let's talk about the other governor, Sununu himself. He hasn't paused his gas tax. He hasn't done anything on it, and yet he's coming to Connecticut to lecture us. Stay up north. You get it right up there, come down and have a talk.
Stay up there, Sununu. Hey, speaking of fertile ground, battleground in Waterbury and the surrounding area, here's what Bob Stefanowski had to say about that. Watch this.
And I think a lot of it is Governor Lamont, Democrats have not helped the cities. And they're tired of these guys coming out once every 4 years, making a bunch of promises and then never showing up again. And we handed out a ton of surgical masks here. We actually won an award from the Waterbury NAACP for the work that we did. We've made a ton of terrific friends here, and we're going to get Waterbury.
A lot of high energy there, Joe, huh?
Yeah, no chance. I mean, look, the numbers show he lost Waterbury by 13 points. There's not that much of a turnaround. Governor Lamont, over the past 4 years, has worked extensively with the city of Waterbury. There's many projects going on. There's been many improvements over there. I don't know where he's getting his math. I'm glad he went there in the chocolatier company. That's great. I don't see him winning Waterbury any way, shape, or form.
Look, whether he wins or not, he's going to compete hard for it, and that's important for a Republican candidate for governor to do. We all know that Bob Stefanowski needs to do better with some suburban voters, but he also needs to do better in our urban areas. I think Waterbury, New Britain, Danbury are areas where Bob Stefanowski can compete with Governor Lamont and do significantly better than he did 4 years ago.
But what's our old saying, John? You know, when we were in the Capitol, when we were working with incumbents to get reelected, you know, they have to have a reason to fire you. So what's the reason? He needs to articulate that more than he currently is. Underserve the cities, haven't done enough for his cities, coming around every 4 years telling them what we're going to do and then not do it. That's simply not true. You need to really, why are you going to fire a current governor?
Inflation's at a 40-year high. People are struggling, and crime rates have gone up significantly. Look, regardless of whose fault it is, the person in charge usually gets held accountable.
Maybe. But there's a lot of other things going around nationwide. We'll talk later about a couple big decisions that have come out. I think that's going to influence the electorate more than anything else.
All right, guys, well, like it or not, that diesel tax happening July 1. Governor Lamont has resisted calls by Republican leaders to call for a special session to deal with inflation. At an event last week where the governor promoted his decision to make bus service free until December, House Speaker Matt Ritter reminded Bob Stefanowski that his call to have Governor Lamont dip into the state's rainy day fund to provide tax relief a lot easier said than done. Watch this.
And what also doesn't get pointed out by the gentleman who's running against Governor Lamont, because he's never really probably taken a moment to understand it, is that all the things he's calling for may very well jeopardize the bond covenants that were part of the historic bipartisan budget in 2017. We have spending caps. We have made promise to bondholders that a certain amount of revenues that come in will go in the rainy day fund. They will go to pay pensions.
And so here's House Minority Leader Vin Candelora, the Candyman, who remains critical about Governor Lamont's lack of willingness to do more to help people who are struggling. Watch this.
This governor is a little bit tone deaf, but now that we're seeing the stock market begin to collapse, we may have an opportunity for him to start paying attention to Main Street, because I'm sure he has his eye on Wall Street.
God, don't show that to Room Raider Joe, huh?
We could do a little do-over there. You know, we could do something. Look, it'd be great to spend more money, cut more taxes. They are absolutely right. We had a situation not so many years ago, John, you were in it, and Tom, you were covering it. We had budget crisis after budget crisis after budget crisis. The 2017 budget allowed us to set the foundation with Republican support. It was a bipartisan budget for where we're at now. To drain those accounts and do it in a momentary notice, it really doesn't make sense. We've done a lot already. We'll continue to do more. But if the Republicans really were in a non-election year, they wouldn't be saying it. Because I remember the last discussion about the rainy day, and it was keep your hands off the rainy day.
Oh, well, look, you know, for a lot of people it is raining. I think the Republicans have continued to say that, yes, the Democrats and the governor budget did have some tax cuts. They wanted the relief to be immediate to taxpayers. I think not canceling the diesel tax increase is a mistake, Joe. It's going to hurt a lot of hardworking middle-class people. The only other question I have is, what was Transportation Commissioner Joe Giletti doing there behind Speaker Ritter?
Jumping jacks.
He looked like he was walking all over the place.
Jumping jacks, or dropped his wallet.
All right, guys, up next on Cap Report, a look inside the 2022 elections crystal ball. We're talking to Kyle Klondike from the University of Virginia for Politics. He is managing editor of Larry Sabator's Crystal Ball. We'll chat about Connecticut's big races when we get back. Don't go away.